Hello, and welcome to this explainer. Okay, so if you have been losing sleep lately, just tossing and turning, wondering why in the world does ChatGPT mention my competitors, but it completely ignores me, you are absolutely in the right place. Look, we are in the middle of a massive shift right now. We're moving away from traditional search rankings. You know, those 10 blue links we've all been chasing for decades, they're becoming obsolete. We are rapidly transitioning into the era of AI recommendations. And if you've been wondering why your digital ground seems to be slipping out from under you, or why your established brand just isn't showing up when people do a conversational search, well, I'm going to give you a highly researched, data-backed playbook today. We're going to stop that slide and we're going to get you winning in this generative search future.
So let's start with a highly frustrating experience that I'm guessing a lot of you have probably faced recently. Picture this. You open up an AI tool, maybe it's ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity. You type in a prompt asking for a recommendation in your exact industry, right? You wait a few seconds, the text generates, and boom, right there, front and center in the response. Your biggest competitors are prominently featured. But your brand, the one with the great reputation and all those years of trust, completely excluded. Just nothing. It is literally a digital ghost town for your product. You have to ask yourself, why exactly is this happening? The absolute urgency of this problem really comes down to this specific number, 3 to 4. When users ask an AI for a recommendation, the system typically only names about 3 to 4 brands per response. Think about how different that is. In the old days of search engines, if you were ranked, say, number 7 or 8 on page 1, you could still capture some clicks, right? You'd still get some attention. But in the generative AI era, this is a brutal winner-take-all dynamic. Being left out of this tiny, exclusive cluster of recommendations means total, complete invisibility to a highly motivated buyer. There is no page 2. You're either in the answer or you don't exist.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for the explainer today. We'll start with number 1, the invisible brand problem. 2, SEO versus AI search. 3, the Princeton Geo breakthrough. 4, the equalizer effect. And finally, number 5, your AI action plan.
Section 1, the invisible brand problem. So, the core issue we are seeing is that many brands are completely missing a fundamental transition. They are still out there trying to optimize their content to be a standalone link on a search engine results page. But the new goal is to be an integrated answer that is directly synthesized by an AI. So what's actually keeping you out of that synthesized answer? Well, the data points to 4 main diagnostic gaps. You see, AI engines build semantic maps of the web to understand who is who. If your brand uses a bunch of confusing marketing jargon, like let's say you call your product a collaborative workflow suite instead of just plainly calling it project management software, the AI cannot confidently categorize you. And when that happens, you are flagged as a hallucination risk. The AI is literally scared of making up false info about you, so it just ignores you altogether. On top of that, if you only exist on your own website and you lack third-party mentions, or if your brand name is spelled differently across the web, you lack entity clarity and ecosystem consistency. The AI simply will not trust you enough to recommend you.
Now, what's really interesting here is this figure, 61.7%. According to a massive SEMrush study that analyzed thousands and thousands of domain appearances, 61.7% of AI citations are what we call ghost citations. What does that mean? It means the AI actually read and used your content to formulate its answer, and your site is technically linked as a tiny little footnote at the very bottom of the response. But your actual brand name, it is completely left out of the AI's generated text. It's like the AI copied your homework, but your competitor got the actual named recommendation in the paragraph. It's incredibly frustrating, but it means we have to fundamentally change how we write to fix this.
Section 2, SEO versus AI search.
To succeed right now, we really need to understand generative engine optimization, or GEO. Now, I want to be super clear. GEO is not a replacement for SEO. Don't throw your SEO playbook away. Rather, GEO is the crucial evolutionary next step. Generative engines use a process called RAG, which stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. I want you to think of the AI like a brilliant but highly cautious research assistant. It reads the internet in real time, it gathers the absolute best sources it can find, and then it writes a synthesized answer. GEO is simply the practice of making your brand the most legible, trustworthy source for that cautious research assistant. That is exactly how you stop your competitors from stealing your AI mentions. Let's actually put traditional SEO and this new GEO side by side so you can see the contrast. With traditional SEO, your ultimate goal is to rank on the search engine results page. You are optimizing for web crawlers, and your key tactics have historically been keyword density and accumulating a ton of backlinks. But with GEO, your goal is entirely different.
You want to be synthesized directly into AI responses. You are optimizing for answer engines, using that RAG technology we just talked about. And your new key tactics? They are using clear citations, concrete stats, and expert quotes. And this brilliantly illustrates a massive paradigm shift. Building for a human and a crawler to win a spot on a list is fundamentally different than building machine-readable trust, so an AI can extract your facts at an atomic level. And to build that machine-readable trust, you absolutely have to understand where the AI actually looks for consensus. When an AI is asked for a recommendation, it doesn't just go read your website and take your word for it. No way. It pulls from software review sites like G2 and Capterra, it reads human discussions on Reddit and Quora, it scans listicles, it checks directories, and it reads trait publications. Think about it. If you are heavily praised on your own homepage, but you are a total ghost everywhere else on the internet, the AI simply won't recommend you. You have to build a unified, consistent presence across the entire ecosystem.
Section 3. The Princeton Geo Breakthrough. Let's move to how this all builds together, because we are moving away from the theory of AI search right now, and we're diving into hard, empirical, peer-reviewed science. In 2024, researchers from Princeton University, Georgia Tech, and IIT Delhi published an absolute landmark paper at the KDD conference. And they didn't just sit around guessing at how AI search works. No, they built a massive benchmark of 10,000 diverse user queries. They ran these 10,000 queries through generative engines to mathematically prove exactly what content modifications actually force an AI to cite your website. This isn't speculation, folks. This is the most robust, credible data we currently have on AI visibility.
So what did they find? The researchers tested 9 different content tactics. The clear winners? Writing with an authoritative voice, which basically means using direct, declarative sentences without a bunch of hesitation or fluff, caused a highly significant increase in citations. Fluency optimization, which is making the text flow logically and smoothly from one section to the next, also won big. But what about the old SEO tricks? Well, keyword stuffing had 0 to negative impact. And content padding, adding a bunch of useless words just to make an article longer, actively penalized the content. Generative engines literally penalize content that reads like it was written for a crawler instead of a human being.
Now, here is the most powerful part of the entire Princeton study. 3 specific tactics absolutely dominated the results. Just simply adding named outbound sources to your content increased AI citations by a massive 40%. Embedding specific, concrete statistics boosted citations by 37%. And including fully attributed expert quotes yielded a 30% gain. Now, why does this work so well? It goes back to what we said earlier. AI models are desperately trying to avoid hallucinating. When they scan your page and see named sources, hard numbers, and real expert quotes, they treat your page as pre-vetted, high-credibility evidence. You make their job easier, so they pick you.
Section 4. The equalizer effect. Okay, this is undoubtedly the most exciting revelation from the entire study. It completely shifts the narrative from a battle of corporate giants with endless budgets into a genuine underdog story. The Princeton researchers found that the biggest winners of generative engine optimization were actually not the massive top-ranked websites. In fact, websites sitting lower down on traditional search pages, for example, a site that was sitting way down at position number 5 on a Google results page, experienced a massive 115% visibility boost when they implemented the cite sources tactic. Think about that. By packing their content with verifiable facts, these smaller, lower-ranked sites were able to completely bypass the industry giants and get directly cited by the AI. Geo is a structural leveling mechanism. So if you want to know why ChatGPT is mentioning your competitors, it's highly likely because they are utilizing this exact equalizer effect against you. I really want to let this quote from SparkToro co-founder Rand Fishkin sink in for a moment. He says, "The brands winning in generative search aren't the ones with the most backlinks. They're the ones AI can quote without second-guessing the source." That hits the nail on the head. In the AI era, accumulating thousands and thousands of random backlinks is just no longer the ultimate trump card it used to be. Having verifiable facts, quotable structures, and machine-readable trust matters far, far more than your backlink profile. Section 5. Your AI action plan.
All right, it's time to actually put all of this into practice. The Geo Playbook really comes down to 4 concrete steps you can start doing today. 1. Use answer-first formatting. 2. Add named stats and sources. 3. Embed expert quotes. And 4. Build third-party consensus. Now, I need you to hear this. These aren't just polite stylistic suggestions. They are the literal structural keys to unlocking your brand's AI visibility. So let's break them down real quick. First up is answer-first formatting. The rule here is incredibly simple, but so many people get it wrong. You need to place a clear 40 to 60 word direct answer to the target user's query right in the first 2 sentences of your page, or at least the section of your page. Why? Because the RAG systems powering these AI engines have incredibly strict timeouts. They are moving so fast. If the AI has to dig through 600 words of fluffy, suspense-building storytelling just to find your main point, it will literally time out, skip your site entirely, and move on to a competitor who just gave the answer immediately. Don't bury the lead.
But of course, you also have to get your technical foundations right. First, you need to hold your largest contentful paint, which basically means how fast your main content loads, under 2.5 seconds. A slow site gets dropped by the AI before it's even read. Period. Second, you have to standardize your schema.org markup so the machine can properly read and understand your site's architecture. Third, make sure you are explicitly allowing AI bots, like GPTbot and ClaudeBot, in your robots.txt file. I mean, if you block them, you literally can't be cited. And finally, maintain high entity clarity across the web. Spell your brand name the exact same way everywhere.
Successfully executing all of this requires a pretty massive shift in your optimization mindset. Look at the old habits. We used to write vague claims like studies show. The new discipline demands citing specific, named data sources and actually linking to them. The old habit was writing a blog post and maybe, just maybe, updating it once a year. The new discipline requires refreshing your key strategic pages every 30 days because AI heavily values recency. And finally, the old habit was relying entirely on your own website to tell your story. The new discipline requires ensuring your presence on platforms like G2, Quora, and industry listicles so the AI finds that all-important consensus we talked about. And as you implement these changes, you absolutely must track your progress. So the crucial point is summarized perfectly by this quote from AI research scientist Dr. Minjun So. You can't optimize what you can't measure. Geo without citation tracking is just guessing with better formatting. It's so true. You must treat this as a rigorous, measurable discipline. You need to identify your top 20 or 30 business-critical prompts, run them weekly across the major AI engines, and calculate your AI share voice over time. Because honestly, if you aren't measuring it, you won't know why your competitors are showing up and you aren't. Wow, okay, we have covered a lot of ground today. We went from the transition from traditional search to AI synthesis, we looked at the diagnostic gaps that are holding you back, and we went through an empirical, data-driven playbook from Princeton to actually fix it. The rules of the game have fundamentally changed, no doubt about it. But as we saw, this change heavily favors the clear, the factual, and the highly structured. So I leave you with this final provocative thought to consider today. Is your brand ready to be the answer? It's time to take this playbook, apply it, and claim your spot in the generative search future. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you next time.